When I was a kid, before I ever did all this business agency stuff and all that, I used to play Minecraft a lot. I played factions. If you don't know what factions is in Minecraft, it was a pretty fun thing. So basically, like, there'd be a server where there would be a bunch of squads and you could invite people to your faction or your group. You could claim land on the server, you could build bases, and basically it was like war. So your job was to kill other people and rob them, break into their bases, blow them up, do all this stuff, hoard all the goods for yourself, and just like fuck shit up. Now I always admired the owner of this server because he was doing like, 60 grand a year just in like the donations, just like selling items basically in the server before Minecraft stopped allowing you to do that. And at the time, this whole thing was like kind of pay to win, right? So there would be people who would donate to the server and they would get diamond armor, they'd get swords with enchantments and everything, just like all the leveled up everything. And they'd get these things every week just because they had donated to the server. So again, pay to win. As somebody who was playing that game for a while that didn't do any donating, it was real, like I had to grind like crazy just to get armor like this or get lucky. And it was just so hard to come across these items on the server. It was really, really hard. And whenever I'd get them, obviously I'm gonna put them in my ender chest, which is like nobody can loot your ender chest, basically. It's private to you and it's inaccessible to anybody else. So I would always do that, right? And stack things up. And then eventually one day I did, like I donated 20 bucks, started getting some stuff in weekly, nothing crazy, but the highest level of it was something like 120 or 150 bucks that you could donate, which to a young kid, like that's a lot of money. And so these guys were just getting like 2 sets of fully enchanted armor every week. And it was just, it felt kind of unfair. It didn't really bother me too much, to be honest. I was still having a lot of fun, but it's pay to win, right? I didn't really have too much of an issue with it, but that's the reality of it. The reason I bring up this story about Minecraft is that when I started out in business, in the e-commerce game, I would do some drop shipping and I invested money into Facebook ads and it wasn't really working so well. It was really difficult, but I had seen people in so many like testimonials getting these crazy results, getting these really high revenues, being very profitable. And I was like, I want to be like that guy. And I was just gonna I was grinding and grinding and grinding like crazy, doing everything that I possibly could to do this myself, right? And get these results myself. And it took a while and I lost a lot of money in the process and I had some ups and downs. I was able to make some money and in the end it was just kind of like a net I just burned, a ton of time trying to figure this out, jumping between project to project, shiny object syndrome, not really having much direction in all this. Later down the line, I start off in the agency game and I kind of do the same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn this from scratch, I'm gonna figure it out. I had a bit of an ego and I was like, I can figure it out, it's fine. Well, lo and behold, 2 years in, I'm doing like 5 grand a month. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. Like it's taken me so long to do this. And it's not like I'm an idiot, right? Like I've gone to top schools, been at the top of my classes, always done well in school, so on and so forth. So I knew it wasn't anything relating to my intelligence or anything like that. I was in fact overcomplicating things. Business is very simple. But I, had this realization that look, I feel like business might be pay to win, where you need to buy knowledge basically, which is kind of like these items, and be able to work with people, on a weekly basis, which is kind of like, getting these weekly items to accelerate your growth and just help you move faster and give you more power and speed and so on and so forth. So at that point, I was nearly bankrupted, started working with a coach, and 5 months later, I did my first month over 10K. I was like, wait, this actually works. Holy shit, this actually works. I was dumbfounded. I could not believe it. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna buy into something else then. I drop another, it was like $5,800 at the time. I dropped that, I joined this other program, and then 4 months later, 5 months later, I'd done 25K in a month. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like I'm onto something here. And then I start working with another coach a few months later, and then 4 months after that, I do 77K in a month. I'm like, dude, business is pay to win. Straight up, business is pay to win. You can just buy the items that help you beat everybody else. When I learned this, I was like, yo, this is nuts. So now I'm like, 60K deep in buying these things. But what's crazy is now I'm at a point of leverage where I'm like, I'm probably gonna drop like another 6K on just like a little email marketing thing just to polish up my email marketing skills and get even better for a specific little type of sequence I'm trying to build. But if I sell like one client, that thing pays for itself, but it pays dividends and makes me money again and again and again and again. So I pay 6K, odds are I'm probably gonna make a few $100 grand off of that investment. If it's not a few $100 grand, it's $100 grand, right? So then I make 100 grand off that investment. Are you kidding me? Where are you getting ROIs like this? Then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I want to learn how to do X. I want to learn how to do another part of my business, right? Then all I have to do is invest more money into that. And like, so I've been investing like crazy. Now I'm like 60K deep in investments. And the interesting thing is that when you find an investment that works and that gives you an ROI, it's crazy because now you're able to get referrals from a reliable person that you trust to buy into other programs or to buy into other, it could be like a course, it could be a mentorship, it could be a group, whatever it is. You can get referred to the right places, to reputable places. And you also learn how to find what works best for you. So it's really crazy, man. It's completely pay to win. That's not to say, please don't interpret this as like you buy a thing and you're gonna be rich. That's not how it works. You have to put the work in. So many people buy into these things and don't do well because one reason or another. A lot of programs can be questionable. A lot of people who buy into the programs buy into them for the wrong reasons and so on and so forth. So, I'm not saying just go dump all your money into a thing and you'll be rich. That is the last thing that I'm saying. That is idiotic behavior. I bought into things and been screwed myself. I bought into things that I didn't really feel like they were worth it. And I've spent, out of the 60K I've spent, honestly, probably only something like, 20 of it or 25 of it was like really, really worth it. And out of that 25, really, I want to say that like 12 of it was like on the money, really well spent. So this is something for you to keep in mind. It's not without risk. It's not guaranteed success. It's never anything like this. Building a business is hard, man. It is just straight up hard and there's nothing you can do about it. However, if you're one of those people where business is the only way, there's no other option, I hate school, I couldn't work a 9 to 5, I need to support my family, I want to give back to my parents who immigrated from another country and gave me this amazing opportunity at life. Whatever the case may be, if you're one of those people where like you're committed, this has to happen and there's no other way, you're just going to make it work. That's the situation that I was in personally. If that's you, then it may be worth, I'm obviously not a financial advisor, but it may be worth doing for you. Again, it's not without risk. You can lose all of your money. If you don't do the work, you'll certainly lose all of your money. I personally found that businesses pay to win, and I've met a bunch of other people who feel the same way, but you have to play with pretty silly amounts of money and do crazy amounts of work and really play the game for real. If I went into this faction server, paid for the most expensive VIP package, and then like never played the game, it's like, well, what's the point? Like I'm not able to accumulate all the other loot on the server if all I'm doing is just sitting there. Like, what's the point of the game? There is no game at that point. And so here there's no game, but the problem is that the game makes you real life money, and you're spending real life money on the game. With that, you're putting real life money into the game. Who really cares what happens if you don't play it? It's 20 bucks, it's 50 bucks, whatever, right? In this case, it's very different. It's real, it's your personal finances and all these kinds of things. But I just want to share literally the biggest lesson I ever learned in business. It's pay to win, man. It's just straight up, it's pay to win. So yeah, if you found this video valuable, then go click whatever is on screen, go to my channel, watch more of my stuff.